Hey everyone, how is it going, and welcome back to Robot Boy. And today we're going to be taking a look at possible ways to improve exploration in No Man's Sky. I do hope you enjoyed my last how to improve video, and I do hope to carry on producing more of these for No Man's Sky. Now, just as a disclaimer, I think I've said this before, these are ideas that I believe could be implemented logistically. However, I'm not listing them based on any sort of confirmed information that would suggest any likelihood or possibility that they will actually be added in the future. I'm just sharing my thoughts on what I personally think could be done better and how, but not necessarily speculating as to whether or not we will definitely see these changes made in the future. Additionally, I'm not bashing the game and saying that current versions of the systems that I covered completely suck and are wasted. No, not at all. I am looking at the good features in the game that have a lot of potential and exploring the ways that they could hopefully be improved even more. All about the positivity, guys. Cool, so now that that is out of the way, let's take a look at improving exploration in No Man's Sky. Yes, I know that's a very broad topic, so if you do have any further suggestions that are not covered in this video, please do leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below, as always. So as mentioned before, I do usually play No Man's Sky in created mode as I love exploring and I don't like being limited. However, the one thing that grinds my gears about exploration in No Man's Sky is, in a way that does make me more disappointed than frustrated, is the fact that there's nothing to actually find. For me, exploration is the reason I play the game. I love discovering new worlds and sites, finding new creatures, finding new worlds, new variations and combinations of the procedural generation. However, as this new update has kind of done with 1.3, although we get better textures, some new assets, it seemed to kind of dial down on the scale of things and pull everything back a bit. I'm not really sure why that's been done, but I seem to notice it a lot more. So in my points now, I'm going to be talking about some bigger things they could do to improve the exploration. The current extent to exploration, first of all, take a shot every time I say exploration, in No Man's Sky consists of these steps. Press one button to land on the planet, jump out, walk roughly 150-200 meters in any direction, and congratulations, you've seen all that the planet really has to offer in terms of its procedural generation variation. I want more to do, more to see, and reasons to do it. Number one, more points of interest. The main things we can find on a planet are small outposts, the save points, trading platforms, beacons, resource deposits, monoliths, and drop pods. It's not a lot really, especially considering the size of planets and that these are the points of interest that contain the objectives required to progress. No matter what kind of role you're playing, you always have to visit these locations, whether it's a story, side missions, locating a base, getting a new multi-tool, getting a new ship. You just have to go to these places. There's no distinct reason for you to visit anyone in particular for a certain objective. They're just cycled around and just matched randomly depending on what you're doing. Cities, albeit an exciting prospect and an idea that I've spoken about before, would be very taxing on the engine and I don't think could logistically be implemented. However, larger hub areas with maybe 20 buildings or so, shops, upgrade stations, new building types, that would be awesome. Hangars, social areas, and tall scalable buildings would make locating points of interest a bit more exciting and seem more like the Gek, Viking, and Korvax have actually colonized the planets properly instead of a single building every few hundred miles. Sentinel buildings, more variation and interactivity with crash freighters, and large monoliths / ancient colossal ruins are other options to consider as well. Number two, side mission improvements. The generated side missions added in 1.3 were a much welcome addition in fleshing out the gameplay options and objectives when exploring a galaxy. It gave us simple, effective, and rewarding ways to collect items, nanites, and money, whilst encouraging exploration of the system you're currently in, and even venturing out to other systems nearby. However, the limit of variation in missions hits very quickly, and they can become very repetitive and very uninteresting after a short amount of time. My biggest disappointment with the side missions currently is that they don't require or allow you to use different mechanics that doesn't exist in free play. A mission to kill sentinels should point you towards a sentinel stronghold or a specified group of sentinels on a planet with the walkers and the dog-like sentinels and a load of drones all there waiting for you that you have to take out, not just ticking off a list as you go searching for random drones roaming the planet like they always do anyway. Same with collecting and delivering items, you just go to a waypoint, interact and leave. It's a missed opportunity. Also, the missions to kill fauna are, what I feel, against the traveller's moral obligations. We're supposed to be explorers, yet we feel no shame in agreeing to mercilessly committing genocide on certain species just to get a few nanite clusters. It feels wrong. Here's my suggestion. For example, the missions to kill fauna should maybe take us to a boss-like creature, #sandworm, that only spawn when accepting these missions. These are super rare, exotic, dangerous and huge creatures, unlike anything you would find in general free roam, and you have to track it down on a planet, fight it in a high-risk battle to rid the planet of its vicious presence. Now if that's a side mission I would play over and over in different galaxies on different planets forever, just hunting down these cool things. That would be awesome. Number 3. Space exploration. Considering that this is a space game, there's not actually a whole lot to do in space. Definitely with regards to exploration. The only things to discover in space are the planets and the moons, which you just warp to with ease. The first step to improving space exploration would be allowing spacewalks. The ability to leave your ship and float around in 0G would add so much more dynamic and allow for a wholly new experience within the game. Now, take that mechanic and add things to find in space. Crashed and destroyed freighters drifting through space with cargo on them. Semi-destroyed starships that need repair, like you know how you can find crashed ships on planets? Imagine that, but in space. Rare resource deposits as well that you can only mine with your multi-tool. Now this is something I've covered in my 5 ways to improve mining video, so do check that out if you want to see my expanded thoughts on that point. Simple but interesting things to do in space would really showcase the scale of the universe as you float around in the vacuum. Number 4. Biome/fauna variation per planet. We all know what I'm talking about here. I've covered this before and it's been covered a million times by everyone else too, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on it today, and I'm actually going to make a more dedicated video discussing this topic in greater detail anyway. So I'll quickly say here that yep, biome and creature variation needs to be improved. New assets, new algorithmic generation, wilder variations and scaling and textures, all of this to keep us exploring and genuinely finding things we haven't seen before. As I say, I'll go more in depth with this topic in another video, so stay tuned. Please subscribe to see that video when it comes out. And finally, number 5, more danger. And again, I've touched on this topic in my 5 ways to improve combat video. It would greatly improve exploration if you had to be more careful about where you were going. Aside from your hazard protection meter going down, that's really the only threat that faces you when exploring on foot. Smaller details like more dangerous weather conditions, or imagine even storms that affect flight and damage your ship as you're coming in. So imagine you're coming to land on a planet and a hurricane is currently there and it shakes your ship and it deals damage to it depending on the severity of the storm, meaning you've got to really pick where you're going to land and when you're going to take off. The ability to have more control over the landing of your ship as well would also add to this concept, making you plan your landings better instead of just pressing square or wherever it is on PC and your ship just auto snaps to the most open area on the ground below you. I'd like it if you could possibly damage your ship during a manual landing, leading you to practice landing with more precision so as to avoid losing health upon landing. And on a final note quickly, with the multiplayer support coming to the game, this would really get me excited about exploring again. If you combine everything that I talked about and mentioned in the video so far and being able to do it alongside a friend, that would be absolutely incredible. So yeah, these are just some ideas that I had. As always guys, some could be realistic, others could just be fantasy dream wishes and might never ever come into existence, but I thought I'd share my thoughts with you anyway. And that's it everyone, thanks for watching. You may have seen my new series currently out called Cinematic Showcase, which I've released, and it was a load of fun to make, and I do hope you've enjoyed watching the videos in that series. If you've been watching them, if you haven't, please go and check them out. I hope you find them enjoyable. Over the next few weeks, there will be some more of these, plus some more discussion videos like this as always. So, what do you think could be done to improve exploration? Do you agree with the points that I raised in this video? And as always, when do you think the new update will drop? It's February guys, it's mid-February. No word. Waking Titans, non-existent. What? Oh god. Please leave your thoughts, give the video a like if you enjoyed, and do subscribe to join me on this journey if you haven't already. And with that, I'll see you all in the next video.